whatever you're doing, let the motivation be the most important reason.
Hi everyone, welcome once again to Pick and Chat podcast. I know it's been a time and a day, we know, but we're here, we're back. Dennis and I are here, and welcome to you all. Thank you all so much once again for tuning in. I know that the year began in January, but we're here. Pick and Chat, we're here. We were taking our time to bring really good content for you all. So thank you for tuning in once again. Today, we are back with a fresh episode, right, Dennis?
Yeah.
We're back today with a fresh episode, so stay tuned for it. So, like we always do, today we are going to start with a business insight from Dennis. So, over to you, Dennis, to share a business insight with us.
Yes. Today we have one key thing that is making people millions, but nobody is talking about it enough. And it is one that is very easy to do. You don't need anything. You can really start with, let's say, £100,
Ooh.
and that is newsletters. They are really cool. There is a newsletter, Morning Brew, that sold for over 70 million, and one that I really followed at the time, the hustle, is sold for I think 27 million to HubSpot.
Wow.
Then just recently, I think there's one also on cryptocurrencies, Milk Road, that sold for 8 figures. Let's say, on a mark of 8 figures, that's 10 million. And you don't do anything than to just write, whether you get somebody to write in your team or you are the writer. That is fine. Even now, it's easier because you can just hop on ChatGPT and prompt it well. One thing with ChatGPT is you have to really put good prompts. You don't have to say, write a newsletter on this. To be very generic, ask questions, build the rapport with ChatGPT and let it construct it for you, and it'll be easy. You never know where you'll get to. So I'll just run you through how to start. If you want the easiest way, there are platforms, softwares that also run newsletters. So you don't need to have your own website. One is like Beehive, Medium. You can just go on, create an account, and get your own newsletter portal. So when people subscribe, you don't have any business managing, try to put up a website, put in a subscription button. They have everything set up on the website.
Oh, nice.
Of course, it will cost you a bit on
Yeah.
subscriptions monthly, but I mean, if you're paying £20 a month to be making tens of thousands or even £100 a month, that is still revenue, or that's still profit. So you can get on these platforms to sign on. Then how do you get it out there? Just as we are having a podcast, just push it out there, push it to friends, put it on your Facebook, on your Snapchat. Don't just use your Snapchat for just in quotes unnecessary content. Yes. So put it on there, put it on your LinkedIn. You have no idea who is going to resonate with your newsletter, the content. And I would advise that you have to make it subject specific. For like the one I mentioned, it sold for 8 figures. It was just on cryptocurrencies because crypto was a thing. So you can just pick a subject. You can talk about spiritual life. I mean, people just want to know more about spirituality. They'll just come on it. You can talk about business. I would talk about business any day because that is where I can really function. People would like to talk about it. Would like to read stuff about it. And look, newsletter is one of the ways you can make money and still make money. In this way, for instance, if you have like 1,000 subscribers, you can just call any business. For instance, if you talk about business, that means people who are business minded come on board.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to sell their products to businesses, you can reach them and say, look, I have 1,000 subscribers and pay me this amount of money. I'll put your ad in my newsletter. And it works like that. So you can make money whilst building it. Secondly, if you yourself have a business, having a newsletter is the best way to promote it. So my software business Post-it, we have a newsletter attached to it. So we get people who are enthusiasts of business to read it. They see our ad. Of course, anybody doing business might want to do invoices and manage the expenses receipt. So they normally would pay attention to our ads. So you can literally use your newsletter to promote your own business. That is if your newsletter is in the domain of your business. If you have a candle business and you're having a newsletter that talks about, let's say, home decor and all. I mean, people who are reading about home decor want to be buying candles. You will easily push your own product. So that's what I'm saying. You can make money. Use it to launch your own products or use it to advertise products. Yes, and when it grows and it has grown, you can really sell it for a good amount of money. Just imagine having 50,000 subscribers and you're selling it to a company, your newsletter to a company, normally if you are selling any company that has subscribers, the least amount you can sell one subscriber is $4.
Wow.
So if you have 50K subscribers and you're selling a newsletter, you're looking at $200,000.
Yeah.
And that is easy
It's a lot
peasy.
of money.
It's a lot of money. So why don't you start a newsletter today? Put the things that you like to talk about in a newsletter and send it to people. And you ask me, why is the newsletter so special? When people subscribe to your newsletter, what it means is that you have access to them any day. When people want to go on your channel, they have to come on your channel. But newsletter, you're going to send it to their email. And that is why people pay attention to it. That's why people pay so much for newsletter ads, because they know when they put their ad on your newsletter, it is going directly into somebody's email. And that is almost magical to have people say that, look, send things to me, I get notification, I'm going to open it.
Wow.
So guys, if you have any topic that you think you're not sure of, you want to discuss, put in the comment and let's see how it goes. Somebody should become a millionaire from doing newsletters from this episode.
Amen.
Right. I like the amen.
Thank you for that, Dennis. So if this has helped you and you're thinking about starting a newsletter and you want more help with it, reach out to us. You can put a comment in the chat or you can DM us on Instagram and we will get back. So today we have a very special topic for you. Or our pastor in our local church actually reached out to us and asked us whether we could discuss this topic. He's an avid listener of Pick and Chat, so shout out to you, Pastor, and thank you for bringing this topic to us. So today we are talking about unhealthy competition. Unhealthy competition. And just like how we normally do, we're going to just put the topic out there and Dennis and I are going to share our views on it.
Yeah.
So over to you, Dennis. Unhealthy competition, what do you think about it? What comes to your mind when you think about unhealthy competition?
Sometimes I just feel like, when you start the intro, you just go on, because I always get to take the first take on it, and that's very difficult because most of the time the take the initial take might set the direction for the conversation. So I am okay to take it, yes. And shout out to our pastor. Coming from him, I would have thought he would be asking us to discuss fasting and prayers, but the man understand how to be youth, and yes, he's a youth pastor. So let's go on it. Unhealthy conversations, unhealthy competitions. First of all, I would say competition is good. What do you think?
Competition is good, but I think it can also be very bad. Competition is when I think of competition, a contest comes to mind.
Yeah.
Something between two people, and there has to be a winner at the end of it. When I think of a competition, so in that sense, there is fairness. So we are both competing, we are both contesting for something, and at the end of it, there's going to be a winner. And that there are fair rules. We're both, for example, if we're running a race, we both understand that, okay, we're running this distance, we're both starting at the same place, and whoever gets to the end first wins. That's a fair competition.
Yeah.
So I believe that competition can be good, but then there are bad competitions where, depending on the factors or depending on the rules, will not always work. Let me give you an example of a bad competition.
Sure.
When, let's say we're running a race and we've both been told that, okay, we both need to wear trainers to start off the race. We are both wearing the same trainers, but then you end up coming on the day of the competition with something extra underneath your trainers that no one sees, because your focus is, I just want to win. I just want to win. I don't care about fairness. I don't care about anything. I just want to win. So you're cheating. That's bad competition. So personally, competition is good, but then we can have bad competition when people don't follow the rules, when people are cheating just because their main focus is to win and they don't care about anything else. That's my take.
Yeah, that's what I wouldn't have thought the way you just explained stuff about where competition is good, but there has to be a winner. So the motion of or the motive of becoming a winner, that is what makes it healthy or unhealthy. So like you mentioned, if I'm going to boost the way I compete unfairly, then that means I have a bad motive.
Yeah.
And me winning is just winning. But that's how it's supposed to be. For some reason, when we were growing up and we were in school, there was positioning where you go to school, you learn, at the end of the term, you do exams, and everybody wants to come on top. So I remember at the time, typical example, I had one guy called Drost Mafubonsu, who always was first. And I was always second for some reason. At some point, my mom called me at home. I think we were going to school. He was come to call me. My mom called me like, look, next time let your boy also come first. As funny as this, that was very healthy because I knew this guy was better than me. Yeah. So at a point in time, he was sick for an exam, and just that subject he could not write it. I know I overtake him, and I was so happy I was going to be first. But then again, I thought of it. I'm like, look, I wouldn't be first if Drost wasn't sick, and I think that was also healthy. But if I wished he falls sick so that I come first, that is unhealthy.
Exactly.
I'll let it bounce back to you again. I think you've really explained stuff to me today.
Yeah, because there is a motive of sabotaging there. When someone thinks of winning, and even in the context of work, in the workplace, we compete against each other because we all can't be CEO at the same time. We all can't be manager at the same time. We all can't be head of service or director at the same time. Someone has to be at the top, and it has to be done fairly. But then people can sabotage you.
Yeah.
Someone can be so consumed with winning that all they think about is, I want to be at the top. I want to be at the top. And their only focus is winning. And that's when sabotaging comes in. That's when jealousy comes in, envy comes in. So they will do whatever they can to get to the top. Like you said, if you were wishing that your friend was sick so that you'd become first, you're sabotaging them.
Yeah.
And jealousy leads to that. And like you said, that is unhealthy. Sometimes in the world we're living in now, I feel that people don't see it as unhealthy. People just see it as, I'm grinding. I'm grinding to get to the top. And they will do whatever it takes to grind to get to the top. There's a difference between hard work. There's a difference between pushing to make sure that you're at your best in the field that you are in. But if you're pushing and you're pushing to the point where you don't care about how it makes other people feel, you don't care about the impact it's having on the people that are around you that care about you, I think there's a level of unhealthy competition there. And sometimes we even have competitions with ourselves where within yourself, that this that you're doing, it's not that great, or the outcome of it is not going to even benefit yourself.
Yeah.
But because you're so focused on winning, because you're so focused on other people maybe seeing you at the top, that you don't care about how it's even making you feel.
Yeah.
You don't care about the impact that it's having on you. So we can even have an unhealthy competition against ourselves.
Your own self.
Yeah. And I've experienced that before. I think it got to a point where I was so focused on wanting to be so good at work that I was like, I don't care even if I have to stay up till 10 p.m. to work. I'm going to do whatever it is that I can to show my manager that look at how good this worker is.
The workers, yeah.
But it got to a point where I was like, it doesn't even matter anymore. Like,
Yeah.
whether I stay up till 10 p.m. and get the work done or not, my manager's focus is get the work done.
Get the work done, yeah.
So I was like, why am I stressing myself so much? I mean, there are seasons when that has to happen. I'm sure you can share that. So there are times when you are building proceeds where you have to put in those hours. You have to put in
I still do
that work. Exactly. There are times when you have to do that, but to the point where it's having an effect or it's having an impact on your marriage, it's having an impact on even your own health, and you don't consider it. Personally, I feel it's unhealthy. And when the person, you're not even thinking about it, then you've gotten to a point where literally nothing can stop you from getting to the top.
Yeah. But my point is, who makes competition unhealthy, or who sets the rules for a competition? Because if I look at myself growing up, I wouldn't say I was in any form of competition. But comments from adults and comments from our aunties and uncles and people around made us feel like we were in competition.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I think I was fortunate enough. I was very bright in school, so I didn't have much of that. But I feel like people around me might have been compared to me. That look at your friend.
Yeah.
He does so well, and you are not doing so well in school. I mean, when you are kids, it's just academics. Look at him. He's so neat. This person doesn't get himself dirty, and you're always dirty. That is unhealthy competition.
Yeah.
So I think for us grown-ups, there is some status quo that is really setting up this competition. So friends might even end up being in competition and nobody knows.
Yeah.
For instance, let's say if a friend buys a car and Another friend's wife tell her, look at your friends. I mean, like watching movies. Look at your friends. Look at nice cars they're driving. That means the person's spouse is setting them in a
Yeah.
competition that they are not ready to get into. And once they are not ready to get into, it will be unhealthy, because competitions are things that you really get into. You sign on to it. You know how it is to lose, how it is to win, and that is it. You prepare towards it. But the moment anybody sets you into something to get ahead of somebody, that means you are not motivated to do it. And you are going to go to every means to get that thing done or to be in the first place. And that is very healthy. And that is one thing that is really killing people at the minute, where they find themselves competing with people without knowing that they are actually competing. So I just want you to talk about this. I know you're really good in explaining stuff. What is the difference between being encouraged by your peers and being in competition with your peers? Most of the time, when they don't even know you are competing with them.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good one. I feel there's a difference between admiration.
Mhm.
So when you're admiring someone, so for example, you have a business and I love where Proceed is getting to and I admire it. And when I see where Proceed is, I'm saying to myself, oh wow, one day I want to build a business that gets to where Proceed is as well. That's admiration. That's inspiration. But if I see the levels that Proceed is getting to, and I say to myself, no, I need to start a business now.
Now.
And it needs to get where Proceed is now, because Akoto cannot be having a business and I'm not having a business.
It becomes unhealthy competition.
That's unhealthy competition. And admiration shouldn't come from a place of competing. So I can be inspired by what you're doing, but I don't need to necessarily also start a business.
Yeah.
I can admire what you're doing. I don't need to start doing the same thing. I can admire what you're doing, and that admiration can drive me to also focus on what I'm doing. So between friends or even in relationships, sometimes that competition spirit can come up because you don't value what the person is doing, or you don't value the gift or the drive that that person has. So within our friendship, I know that you're doing something great. I can promote what you're doing. I can, say, oh, Proceed is big. Wow, I need to tell people about it. Look what my friend is doing. Or Card Wisher is huge. Oh, support my friend's business. I value what you're doing. I don't need to compete with you by also starting a Card Wisher or by also starting a business. I can start a business if I want. I can come to you for advice. Oh, Akoto, can you help me? I want some advice. I'm thinking about starting a business. What do you think? Because I know that you are good in your field, I'm coming to you for advice. But the motive behind the reason why I'm coming to you for advice also counts.
Yeah.
Because I could be coming to you for advice, but deep down I'm thinking, oh, I want to take his ideas so that I can also go off and do something even better.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a form of unhealthy competition.
Yeah.
And most of the time we don't value the things that our friends are doing, like I said, or even people that are close to us. So and when you don't value people, or when you don't value their gifts or what they are doing, unhealthy competition can breed that way as well. So one way I feel to get rid of that unhealthy competition spirit is to value people, value what they are doing, value the businesses that they are opening, value their time, value people's the friendships you have with people, the relationship. Because if God has given you the privilege to be around people that are thriving, I don't know if you remember this, but you said this some time ago. We were, myself, yourself, your wife, my husband, and another couple. I think we were on a call, and then one of the couples said that they had recently reached a milestone in their lives, and you were like, wow, amongst ourselves, we are worth more than £1 million.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I got so excited.
Yeah.
But then later when I was reflecting on it, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Among my friendship group, this is how much God has blessed us.
Yeah.
That could have gone two ways. When you said I could have just sat there and thought to myself, I need to do better.
Yeah.
Like how I'm worth more. A whole lot could have gone through my mind. I could have thought about so many things and just come up with so many unnecessary things. Oh, now we need to be doing this. I could have gone to my husband and said, no, now if these people have done this, we need to do this. We need to do that. That's unhealthy.
That's
competition.
unhealthy. Yeah.
You not valuing the people that are around you. But at the same time, you acknowledging that, wow, amongst us, this is how much we're worth.
We're worth, yeah.
Great ideas can come out of that.
Exactly.
We can easily, as a family or as a friendship group, this is how much we're worth.
Mm.
What do you guys think about us doing this?
Mm.
What do you think about this investment? What do you think
Mm.
about this?
Mm.
Those are all brilliant ideas that can move us more forward.
Mm.
So by valuing people, by valuing how much we're all worth, it helps us to even progress more. But when you think about the unhealthy side of it, that's what I was saying, that I could have thought about it like, oh no, me and my family alone, we need to do more. We are worth more. So we can't just be there.
Yeah.
You know, I could have said we're worth this. No, we need to do more. We need to
Yeah.
strive for more. And it's just not healthy. Yeah,
it's so not healthy. If you're watching us today, I'd like to bring to attention what you see, and if you've grown, you see our initial episodes, and up to now you can see changes, and it's all powered by Nen Media. You can reach them on Instagram, Nen Media, Facebook, Nen Media. Yet to hit LinkedIn. We'll be on LinkedIn very soon. By next week, you should be on LinkedIn. So Nen Media is behind this production. It's great. We keep getting better, and you can just check. Just look at our first episode and look at our recent episode. You can see that yes, we put in pressure on people, and they are going to be in unhealthy competition with us, and they cannot catch us because we are backed and powered by the grace of God. Initially, first of all, and in terms of media, Nen Media. So watch them out. I mean, look for them on Instagram, especially Nen Media, NAIRN, and media, as you all know. Thank you. All right, let's kick on. I mean, I'm always a Christian. I've always been a Christian. I'm always going to be a Christian. So anything I discuss, I really want to bring Christianity in. Do you think there is unhealthy competition in the church?
Yes. Big time.
Okay, once you say yes, that means I'm not wrong. So let me just
There
fire.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember people really wanted to pray longer hours when I was a kid, when we were in Sunday school, just because people said they could pray an hour. So they want to pray for 2 hours. And it's so unhealthy to the extent that, look, before I go on, prayer is the answer to almost everything you're looking for. So this is not in any way saying pray less if you are praying more. Pray as much as you can. God says we should pray without ceasing. Any day, any time, anywhere, if you want to pray, just kabul and go. So back to it. People used to pray more because they felt like other people prayed more than they did. And that is very unhealthy. The motive behind you praying more is to do more in your spiritual life and do more. I mean, get more for whatever you're asking for, whatever you're looking for in prayers. There should be no reason that a Christian would want to pray because a colleague or a brother is praying 10 hours. So they also have to pray 10.1 hours. That is so wrong. That is unhealthy. Then again, also in church, people also want to get to higher echelons in a church just because their colleagues are there. That is also very wrong. And this is things I picked when I was growing up. I mean, in the church at a very early age, I could hear conversations and see people getting on about just because people are doing it.
Yeah.
And like I always say, and this is not the first time I mentioned, like yourself and a husband, like your zeal to getting things done in church and all. I look at it, I'm like, no, this is not. I mean, nobody even tells you to do it, and you do it, and that is so huge. That is so huge. And imagine me just waking up and not also doing things I can do, or helping you to do the things you do.
Yeah.
But I just want to overcome what you're doing, just so people will say, "Oh, Koto is doing better than this couple." That is wrong. Yeah. So, like I always say, and I've been telling you guys, it's a good thing, and it's almost like a covenant with our maker. And if I want to tap into it, I will not even go and do more. I'll come and serve under you guys and be like, give me a bit of what you guys do to help. And that's important. And it also leads to projection. Church is a place where there's a lot of projections and we don't know. Yeah. For instance, when there is offering, people give offering and you say, oh, this person gave this amount. Oh, back then, my God. If you weren't rich, it would be a worry. I mean, the church didn't know. It was an unconscious promotion that really made people, get into unhealthy conditions because at the time they announced offertory. Or let's say when they are giving donations or something, they say this person gave 2,000, this person gave 3,000. So now people want to borrow and go and give 4,000 just for the name, but not as a cheerful giver God wants us to be. So God wants a cheerful giver. If you're not cheerful about the giving you are giving, it's a competition. You just want to prove to people that you can give, and that is wrong. I mean, these are just some of the unhealthy competitions that go on in church. But I'll say again, if you're a giver, keep on giving. Be cheerful about your giving. Don't stop giving. Don't give less because I said so, no. But make sure your giving is motivated by you really wanting to give out of your heart and being
Yeah.
cheerful about it, but not because you want to beat the person
Someone else.
who gave. This is these are some of the examples that I think spike unhealthy competition in churches. Aside that, church is a place where we can always pray. So let's pray. God remove all of these things, and it should be very easy for us, especially Christians. God does everything for us, so you don't have to worry. Just pray about it. If you feel like your whatever you're doing in church is not motivated by spirituality or your zeal to make the kingdom good, please revise it, pray about it before you get on. What do you think? What are some of the unhealthy conditions you see in the church?
Following on from what you just mentioned about competition in the church, sometimes I feel that church and serving in church has been so romanticized that now people see it as, oh, I need to be seen serving in the church.
Yeah.
And if someone else is seen more than me, if someone is serving and they're seen more than the service that I'm providing, then it won't make me feel good. And that's not the point of service in church. For example, there are times when people feel like because of the service that I'm giving in church, if I'm not there, nothing can be done. But our service to church is actually our service to God. It's not a service to the members. It's not a service to our pastor. It's service to God. So the unhealthy competition breeds when we don't realize who we are serving. And I think that's a point that we may have to explore more.
Okay.
When it comes to competition, why are you competing?
Okay.
Do you understand what you're doing?
All right.
So going back to the point on how unhealthy competition can breed in the church, as I was saying before, the church is a setting where we need to always remember who we're serving. So it's not a matter of, oh, I'm doing this in church and I want to be seen for doing it, or this person is doing something, they're being seen more than I'm being seen, so I need to do more. Who's the focus of that service? God. God is the one we're serving. We're not in competition with God. We're not in competition with anyone else. So sometimes, as I said before, service in the church can be romanticized and it can create unhealthy competition between people. Because, for example, if I sing in church and if you sing as well, if you sing, if you're leading worship, singing and people are crying, and I lead worship and people don't cry, it might make me feel some type of way. But that's not the point.
That's not the point now.
It doesn't matter whether people are crying or not. We're worshiping God. How is my singing making God feel? You could be making people cry with your singing, but God has blocked his ears to your singing.
Yeah.
So that's how we can get rid of unhealthy competition. We need to understand that, especially in the church, because you brought up the church, especially in the church setting, we need to understand that it is God we're pleasing with everything we're doing in the church. And not ourselves and not our pastor and not the members. I think that's a way that we can get rid of unhealthy competition, when our focus is back on who we are serving.
I love that analogy.
Outside of the church, I believe that it's a way we can use that same way to get rid of unhealthy competition. For example, if your goal is to do well in your career, maybe you want to become the CEO of a company one day, your focus is on becoming the CEO. Your focus is not on, oh, I don't want this person to become my CEO before I do. No, your focus is, I would like to become a CEO one day. So you work towards that. It doesn't concern you if someone else becomes a CEO more than you.
That's not your motivation.
That's not your exactly. So the motivation behind that is really key. And I believe that sometimes people don't focus on that. They are motivated by other people's success, which is okay. But sometimes it can drive people in the wrong way. Oh no, Akoto has made his first million. No, I was meant to make my first million before
I like the sound of that.
But that's not the point. When Akoto makes his first million today or in 10 years' time, if I want to make £1 million as well, I will get there. I need to be doing the things that I need to do to get there. Sometimes too, people are not driven by the hard work that you've put in. All they're seeing is Akoto has made his first million. I want to make £1 million too. Do you know the amount of hours Akoto has put into proceeds? Do you know the amount of times when he comes back from his 9 to 5, he still sits down and puts in another 3 hours into proceeds? You're not seeing the work he's putting in. So what makes you think he woke up one day and got there, so you can do the same thing and get there? These are factors of unhealthy competition, and we are not driven by the good things or the hard work that the person has put in to get to where they are. And it doesn't help.
Yeah, talk about that. I think it is serious. I mean, I use myself as an example. I mean, when I've always been in business, I'm not just trying to, I mean, say I'm on the good side. I could have been. I was just fortunate. I wasn't motivated by the wrong things,
Mm,
because all the time, it was just about what I really wanted to do. So I've had discussions with my wife where I asked her, so if we have £2 million now, what are we going to do for people?
yeah.
And that alone says a lot about the reason why I'm trying so hard. So it was never about me. I mean, just an example, and it could be anything. If you want to get married, why do you want to get married?
Yeah.
Do you want to get married because your friend has gotten married?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is it. So anything you're doing, like you mentioned, if I want to become a millionaire, which many of my friends know, that I want to be a millionaire, is it because I just want to be a millionaire and compare myself to millionaires to be like,
Yeah.
okay, I've passed this millionaire?
Yeah.
Or is it because I really wanted to have millions of pounds so that I can buy the churches I want to buy? I can, you know, take care of family the way I want to. I can sponsor friends the way I want to.
Yeah.
You get it? So the motive behind you doing anything is very important. And that's why I said in school back then, if you really want to get good grades, you do want to get good grades because you want to have that finesse or master the course you are learning, or you just want to bypass the person ahead of you.
Mm,
And that is why I started the example of when I was a kid. And that was in a funny way, funny as children, but adults were actually making comments that made us see that the reason why we wanted to get to the first position was just to what, be the first person. But my mom could have known that, look, my son is second, but he knows more than enough,
yeah.
because being second in class means you are above average. But still, they wanted me to be first, just to be the first person and be first.
Yeah.
And that is an unconscious way to spike unhealthy competition. And that's how I should apply to everybody. So my admonishment to everybody, like I always do, is whatever you're doing, let the motivation be the most important reason.
Mm,
If it's for marriage, do you want a companion?
motivation.
It is to serve in church. Do you actually want to serve God?
Mm.
If it is into making money, do you actually want to get money for the right reasons, to get comfort for your own life,
Yeah.
comfort for your family, friends, help the needy? Or is it just to be richer than your fellow guy, I mean,
Yeah.
your friends or members of the family? And it's even in
Mm.
families. There are families that are in unhealthy competitions, and I'm going to push it back. I mean, I don't have any example like that. I mean, there's no unhealthy competition in my family. I hope there's none in yours. But we know, we've watched movies, we've seen around, we have friends who tell us things. There are families that are even competing. I mean, brothers and sisters that are
Against each
competing
other.
against each
Mm,
other. And that is so wrong.
yeah.
And most of the time, it is not their fault. It is because parents, uncles are inciting. Oh, look at this, your cousin is married. Oh, look at this, your cousin is doing well, so well in business. Look at this, your cousin is doing so well academically. And it brings out unhealthy competition
Yeah.
among siblings. And siblings just fight to what? Please people in the family, just to say that, oh, I'm the best. I do this, I'm the best. I do that, I'm the best. So I think it's one thing that we should look at in all aspects. But that's my personal, I mean, preference. I really want us to talk a bit, since you've been in the corporate world for, I mean, quite substantive time. I like us to talk about unhealthy competition at the workplace. I know you gave an
Mm,
example that was against, like, you are, I mean, challenging your own self in a
yeah.
way that was not even good for your health. I've done that. I've really, I mean, gotten to a point where I challenge myself. I push myself to the extent where I knew what I was doing wasn't so important for the target I want to reach, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to do more time. I just wanted to put in like 12 hours a day into my startup, just because I feel like if I put in more time, it'll be good. There are days I sit back and say, look, no. You can do 6 hours a day, and that should be important. The rest, you're not going to do anything good. So it was like I was in competition with my yesterday.
Yeah.
And that is also wrong if it's unhealthy.
Mm,
But if the motivation for me doing extra hours was to get some good work done, that is fine. But if it was just to do more hours than I did yesterday, it's unhealthy. There are times I've not slept and I really look awful. People say like, are you sick? And it's just because I know I've not been sleeping, just because I'm competing with my own yesterday.
yeah.
That's wrong. So let me give you a question again, not talking about our own business or our stuff we do at workplaces, not even in business, workplaces. What are the
Workplaces.
unhealthy competitions that are going on? How is it? How bad is it?
It depends on the sector you are in,
Mm.
I feel, but there's definitely unhealthy competition in the workplaces. And sometimes it comes from inferiority complex. Sometimes people themselves don't feel like they're able to reach a certain milestone at work. So when someone gets there, they start to get a bit worried. Or when someone gets there, they're thinking to themselves, oh, but this person, they don't have the same qualifications as I do. Or they're not as experienced as I am. So why are they there? And why am I not there? And as I mentioned before, sometimes we're not willing to put in the work. But we want to get to a certain place where someone who has put in years and years
of work
is. And one way to really identify that you have unhealthy competition in the workplace is to consider how you celebrate with people when they reach certain milestones. If we're in the workplace and someone gets promoted to a manager position, or someone gets to a new level, how do you celebrate with that person?
Are you happy?
Are you thinking to yourself, no, this person doesn't deserve to be there? Or even if truly they don't deserve to be there, how is that making you feel? You know? And the reason why initially I said it depends on the sector that you are in. Let's use healthcare as an example. If someone is a doctor and after years of practice, they become a general practitioner, or they become the head of the NHS trust, and someone is a nurse and they think to themselves, no, why is that person head of the NHS trust? To me, it doesn't make sense. Why are you not happy for that person? You're a nurse. This person is a doctor. After their 10 years of experience or 20 years of experience, they've been promoted to this level. Even their years of experience alone should tell you that they have something to give. They have something more to give than you do. So if a nurse is competing against a doctor, I mean, you yourself should probably sit back and think to yourself, why am I doing this? It's not healthy. First of all, the qualifications that you have compared to that doctor is different. That there's no point in that competition. However, let's say a ward nurse sees a pediatric nurse or a health visitor or a nurse who has had 20 years of experience, and they've been promoted to a level where you would like to get to. It should even be an inspiration for you. Wow, this person was at the same level as I was 20 years ago, and now they are here. It shows that I can also get there. So in the workplace, I think competition is important. I think competition is really important in the workplace, because if there's no competition, people become idle. People become complacent, and there's no drive for them to even want to do more. But when there's competition, if I see that Akutu was a ward nurse 5 years ago, now he's at the top of his game. He's put in that work. That means if I also put in that work, I can get there. But if people are sitting there and they're just, everyone is a ward nurse, after 5 years, everyone is at the same level that they are, there's not going to be any drive for anyone. And with this, I believe it's the same in every business. But nowadays, I feel that people have this mindset that, it's fine. I can be a nurse, or I can be a doctor, or whatever career field you're in. I finished uni yesterday. I started my work today. Tomorrow, I'm going to become the CEO of that company. And I feel that social media plays a part as well. We see people's stories.
Social media.
We see how people have risen to the top of their games. They are not telling us the backstory. All we see is this where they've gotten to. And that brings up this weird thing in us that, oh no, I need to get that. So I need to get there. So I'm going to do everything that I can. And sometimes we don't hear what people do. And I want to use this example. Recently, Moses Bliss and Marie got married. Yes.
Great wedding.
And a lot of people that probably don't know, Marie has had a YouTube channel for years. She had a YouTube channel for years. I used to follow her. I've been following her.
She's been in content creating for a long time. She's been on YouTube
for years, creating Christian content. She's been on it for years. But recently she got married, and she went from having less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to over 12,000 subscribers on YouTube. Someone could be sitting somewhere and they would just think, oh, why did she get all those subscribers? But she's been putting in the work for years. Years ago, when she was in sixth form, she was creating content helping people to study how people can revise. And then she promoted to doing content about Christian women, how Christian women can dress modestly, how we can focus on God. So she's been doing content for time. And now, by the grace of God, she's gotten to that point where she's gotten so many subscribers. But someone can easily take that and think, oh, yeah, I'll just start a YouTube channel then.
Yeah.
Marie got 12,000 subscribers in a matter of 24 hours. She got all these subscribers literally in hours when her engagement was announced.
Yeah.
So someone might think, oh, maybe I need to also start a YouTube channel, do something crazy. I will also get subscribers. But it doesn't work like that way.
Yeah.
It takes time. And you can look at Marie's story and that can drive you to endure. It can create this endurance spirit in you where you're like, you know what, maybe I should take my time, work on my craft. With time, I will also get there. It shouldn't create this spirit in you where you're like, you know what, I'm also going to break the internet, do something crazy and get all this subscribers. And people do it sometimes. People sometimes do something really crazy and it works for them. But as you said before, the motivation behind what you're doing, the motive behind what you're doing is really important. And I believe it works the same way in the workplace.
It's true. I mean, for what it's worth, Marie had a YouTube channel before she got that big limelight, and now you're connected. So she put in the work, and that's one thing people don't get. They always say like, oh, this person is like, for instance, you can say, oh, she married a celebrity, so now people want to know her. But when they wanted to know her, she also had a channel that could grow with she coming to the spotlight, and that is a lot of work. For so many years, I mean, to YouTube, and now she's blown out like that. And if she capitalized on that, it could be massive. So, I always go, not the weird ways. Do you think women are in competition with men?
Yes, we are. But
and is it healthy?
Personally,
not personally.
I feel.
What do you see around? Is it healthy?
But I can only speak for myself, really. I can't speak for all women.
Okay.
But so personally, I'm in a field of work where men are there as well, but largely, I'm a social worker, and mostly there are more women social workers than men. But the more you get to the top, like head of services, directors of children's services are men.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know why. But for example, I've worked in certain local authorities where the head of services are men, but all the social workers that are doing the frontline work are women. Okay. So someone could see that as a form of competition. But then personally, in the field that I'm working in, I don't think I'm in a competition with any man. There are many social workers in my team. I'm not in a competition with them.
Okay.
However, I see it as I actually see it as a benefit for myself being a woman in the job that I'm in, because naturally I see myself as someone who is able to really connect with children and women more. And most of the time in my field of work, I get to work with women and children. So being a woman myself, I see that as a benefit to myself, maybe compared to a man. And it makes my job that little bit easier for me to do. However, in a different field, maybe in a different side of the corporate world, I mean, banking, tech, where stereotypically we see men thriving in those fields more, the competition will be more obvious there, and you can even have bits of unhealthy competition in there. Because for all you know, a man may naturally, maybe come up with risky ideas or ideas that may work more than maybe a woman may in that field. So I think unhealthy competition between men and women is definitely there. And in the age that we're in now,
the word definitely.
In the age we're in now, where women empowerment, we're being told that we can do the things that
everything
men can do even more. Sometimes, if you're not careful and it gets into your head, you may think, I'm not going to let any man, tell me this or tell me that. I am also going to get there. And to a certain extent, it's fine, but it goes back to the motive and the motivation. What is driving you? Even on the basis of gender, as a woman, as a man, what is driving you to do what you want to do? As a woman, I've gotten to a place where I am so comfortable in myself because I know there is a purpose God wants me to achieve. So my focus is on that purpose. My focus is on achieving that purpose.
But not to beat a man.
No, my focus is not on getting to the same level as a man. For all you know, that man, do you know the purpose God has given them?
Yeah.
Maybe God has told that man that he's going to become a president one day. So you competing with that man, where is it going to get
Yeah.
you? I don't know. So my focus is on my goal, the
Good.
purpose that God wants me to achieve. But I know it's not the same for some women
Yeah.
or some men. We're living in a world where we're literally being told all the time that we need to go head to
On head
head
with men.
men,
And that is wrong.
It's difficult.
Yeah, I'll take you back to was it a Beijing conference where they said what men can do, men can do better. That conference was wrong. It's the worst conference that has I mean, not the worst conference, the worst team
Yeah.
that has ever come out of a conference. They didn't know
Mm.
because it was backed by so much emotions that trying to empower women was just to see them do more than men.
Yeah.
How can people travel all over the world, burn fuel, add to carbon emission, go to Beijing, and the theme for the conference is what men can do. Men can do better. So if any woman grew by this, as we were growing up, that was a theme there. No, what men. So at the point, women want help, and men will tell them, "Oh, what men can do better. So do it." You get it. If you listen to what we've been talking about and how unhealthy a competition can be, that was a very great spike for an unhealthy competition. So many women wanted to be at the top, not because they really wanted to be at the top, because they wanted to beat men at the top.
Yeah.
And these were women who became depressed because they were doing things that they were not wired to do. I'll give you a typical example. I mean, I know you are a social scientist because of the work you do. You know a lot about social life, but from just what you told me about your job, you know, for the basic deliverable of your job is social care and it's nurturing. And I'm not going to lie, if anybody can lie about it, women are better off nurturers than any other species in this world. And that is why, reasonably, it turns out to be that there are many women in social care, nursing, many women. I mean, people shouldn't feel like, why is it that so many men are nurses? It's just because it's a job that has the competencies that some gender has, unless you want to disregard gender. And that, as a Christian, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because God knows why He created man and a woman.
Yeah.
Whatever is in between is a bit in lifestyle, and that is also okay for wherever the conversation arises.
Sorry, Akoto, just what you just said there, I just thought of something. You know, when you just said why are so many women nurses? You know, sometimes a woman can hear that, and that can even create this unhealthy feeling in them. Oh, because sometimes it sounds like you're downplaying it. Oh, why are so many women health workers?
Because their natural competencies that they grew up with, they don't have to do too much to be nurses. Women don't have to do too much to be carers. But take a man to a nursing home, a caring home, and they are always complaining, they are moaning because that is not how they are wired to behave. They don't have the competencies. And now some women just want to do some jobs because they want to be called the first woman in this job. Recently, as you mentioned to me earlier, we have, I think, a first minister for
the first minister for Wales.
For Wales,
black,
a black and a woman.
No, not a woman.
Not a woman, a black man. Okay, then I'm not going to talk about it. If it was a woman, I would have said, was she trying to get there because she really wants to take care of what Wales?
But I'm looking forward to that day.
Yeah, or because she wanted just to be the first, woman who is leading.
A nation.
A nation.
Yeah.
So the motivation for every woman getting into any position, I think, should be that they want to do the job. They have the competencies to get there, but not to beat a man. And this is how people end up in unhealthy relationships and affects their health. Research showed that many women who are having suicidal thoughts are the very women who have good jobs.
Wow.
And research also shows us those works demand so many hours. And of course, as a woman, you don't have the same amount of hours a man has. Unfortunately, yeah. Because a man wakes up early in the morning, by 6 o'clock, 6:30, he can be at work. Many women cannot get to work in 30 minutes. You have to do your makeup. You have to take care of things. If you are menstruating, it will take you longer to get in and out of the bathroom.
I get ready in 30 minutes in the mornings.
Yes, but a man can for that same time, a man can do 5 minutes. You get a point? So what I'm trying to say is that women require more than men in terms of time to work. I mean, when I say that, I mean time to work. We all have 24 hours. But when it comes to time to be available, men have more than women.
Mm.
And this is not relative to a married woman or a nursing mother. It relates to
Men in
normal men
general.
and women.
Mm.
Talk about moods, talk about everything. So I think there is some unhealthy competition out there,
Yeah.
and women should always endeavor to do whatever they are doing because they want to achieve, but not just to overcome a man.
Yeah.
And that is also another point to consider. Now, also men also want to do jobs that women are also doing, just also to beat women, which is not very common, but some men are like that. You also want to be like, oh, I'm the first man in this field, in a woman's field. If you're a man out there and you also want to do a job, not because you want to achieve, but because you want to beat a woman, shame on you. Let's all do things we are capable of doing, and let's live within our competencies and avoid unhealthy competitions. Do you have any other thing to add?
I think just to round up for us, we've shared quite a lot today
Mm.
on unhealthy competitions, but just to round up, think about the motive behind the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're feeling, if you're having these feelings of unhealthy competition where you want to compete against someone, but you're not really sure why, maybe sit back, try and think about why do I want to do this, or this person has gotten to this place, why do I also want to get there? The motive behind it, what is motivating you, what is driving you to want to get there? We believe that will help. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us in today's episode. We hope that you enjoyed the conversation. Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. What do you think about unhealthy competition? Do you agree with some of the things that we have shared? Do you not agree with it? Why not? Let's get interactive in the comment section, and see you in the next episode.
I see ya.